Hey everyone, welcome back to Helping You Soar, the channel that helps small business owners like yourself reclaim time and freedom from back office operations and travel planning services. So, I'm here today to talk about the art of seamless quarterly planning, what I call your blueprint to freedom. Are you ready to master the essential steps laying the foundation for a smooth and successful quarter? I'm going to walk you through my proven pre-planning process that sets you up for success before the quarter even begins. This session is perfect for small business owners who want to start each quarter with clarity, confidence, and a solid plan that's ready to execute to save your organization time, money, and resources. But before we jump into it, let me introduce myself and why I'm here. I'm Kathy Feather. I was born and raised in Southern California and lived in Washington and Texas before landing in Greenville, South Carolina a little over a year and a half ago. I'm a 25-year project manager with a love of travel. I started my travel business in August of 2019. Yep, you guessed it, my timing was perfect, 8.5 months before COVID shut down the world. And in August of 23, I formed my LLC, K Feather Solutions. I'm here to ensure every small business owner has a back office that allows them to take time away from their work so that they can spend time with friends and family making memories that last a lifetime. And why is that so important to me? Well, I've been the financial support for my parents since about 2009. And I personally have a travel regret. I skipped that last trip with the family, my parents, my sister, her family. And I skipped it because I was afraid to tell a new employer that I needed the time off. Well, I learned as lockdowns continued and my dad's health declined that those trips meant everything to him. And that's what he took in his final days. And I don't want anyone else to have any regret like I do. So I'm very glad you've taken the time to join me today. But before we jump in, I want to take a moment to talk about why pre-planning is so crucial to the success of your quarterly planning. Planning is more than just a set of tasks. It's the foundation that allows you to work smarter, not harder. It's about making sure that when your new quarter starts, you're not just scrambling and feeling overwhelmed, but instead you're stepping into it with clarity, confidence, and a strategic roadmap that aligns you and your organization with the long-term vision that you've set. So here's a quick look at what we're covering today. First, we're going to reflect on the past quarter and learn about what's worked and what hasn't worked. Next, we'll focus on setting clear, achievable goals. Then we'll discuss how to prioritize and plan effectively. After that, we'll look at organizing your resources to ensure everything's in place before that quarter begins. And finally, we'll bring it all together with the strategic roadmap for your coming quarter. So, are you ready? Let's get started. You probably arrived at this training through my How Quarterly Planning Saves Small Business Owners Time and Money Masterclass. That's how most do. In it, I show how prioritized, focused attention on the right activities make a difference in your business. If you're still unsure, let me talk a little bit about my experience. I was asked to speak at the Burnout to All Out conference as a part of a panel on my ability to have two successful sides to my business, launch new products in one of those sides, and provide courses to fellow travel advisors on a CRM tool. And I did all of this in 12 months. And I did this by creating a strategic plan where I focused on my top priority each and every week until it was completed, and then I moved on the next. So we've talked about what we'll learn in this session. So now I want to talk to you about who should attend this. This session is really for those small business owners, those entrepreneurs, and those visionaries who want to take their business to the next level. So what is quarterly planning? Quarterly planning is a time to focus attention on creating your roadmap to what your team will do over the next 3 months. It is a time to reflect on what is and isn't working in your business. It's a time to prioritize what's most important for you and your business. And most importantly, it's time to chart that path forward on how you are going to proceed. So, what I want to focus on here is as you're reflecting, don't get stuck on the minute details. It's a great time to question. And the truth is, you have the opportunity to measure against things when you have a strategic plan, and you'll be ready to go. So let's talk about reflecting and reviewing. Consider the past quarter. What's working in your business? What is going fantastic? Sales are up. Your team is content. What is working? Now, love the typo on my slide. What's not working for you? What needs improvement? What needs to change? Where do you need to focus some energy? And if you had a plan last quarter and didn't finish it, what work remains to make that goal an actual thing that has occurred? I want you to use qualitative metrics whenever possible. I want it to be quantifiable. Can you actually use numbers to tell the story? While qualitative data is great, quantitative really brings out the capacity. Are you finding patterns? Does your team always succeed in this area but fail in another? Make sure you are identifying those patterns and conduct a SWOT analysis. You want to know the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that your business faces. How is that going to play into what needs to happen for your business? Now, if you haven't checked out my blog and my video on SMART goals, this is just a quick refresher. You want to set goals for the next quarter, and you want to make those goals SMART. You want them to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Have them be time bound. How can you measure progress against a goal if you really don't have SMART goals identified? You want your goals to help you make progress on larger projects and priorities of your business. If you are launching a course and your course has 6 modules, you're probably not going to finish all 6 modules in a day or even a week. You want to give time and progress to that larger project goal. You want to use that SWOT analysis that you put together. You want to include items that play upon your strength and utilize the opportunities that are happening outside of your business that could be advantages for you. You want to mitigate risks. You want to take the time to mitigate the weaknesses and the opportunities that threaten your business. So opportunities aren't always positive. They could be threats to your business, and you want to make sure you're identifying those and putting actionable steps to work through them. And most importantly, you want to document them. If you don't put them in writing, I assure you, a quarter from now, you are not going to recognize and remember every goal you have set for your team. Now you're going to take the time with that and you're going to prioritize and plan. So what I mean by prioritize, you're going to prioritize those goals amongst each other. You're going to put them in some sort of a sequence. And I recommend you utilize a tool, a project management tool, or the product backlog list that I have in my strategy kit. And remember the sequence that needs to happen. Now, it might be that goals are prioritized against each other, but even amongst one goal, you have a sequence of activities that needs to happen. I encourage you to document those so they're not overlooked as you're doing your planning. And you want to remember constraints. If a key member of your team, let's say your website designer, is going to be out on vacation for 2 weeks, those 2 weeks are not the time to be getting ready for a product launch where you have to update your website with that information. This list of prioritized action items becomes your backlog. And again, I recommend you have a project management tool, utilize Asana or some other tool, but utilize a tool, it can even be Excel or Google Sheets, to add those priorities to your backlog. Now, I want you to take the top 1 to 5 priorities and I want you to decompose them into milestone activities. I want to caution you here. I want you to decompose those items to a level that makes sense. I do not want you to put a burden of unnecessary overhead on your team. I don't need you to track activities to the hour, sometimes even to the day, depending on how many team members you have. Decompose to a level that gives your team guidance on whether they're going to be on track or not and keeps them accountable. But don't decompose to a level that gives you unnecessary overhead in tracking. Now, you're going to consider your resources. Now, resources are not just the people, and I really want to emphasize that here. If you don't come from a project management background, you probably don't recognize that resources aren't just people. Resources are all the things you need to do the work. So first and foremost, do you have the people needed to complete the work? If not, are you going to be able to hire or outsource that work in time for that priority to be part of this quarter's plan? If not, most likely, even though that is a top priority, you may need to put it 3 months from now in your next quarter's plan. And instead, this quarter's plan would focus on finding the person you need to do the work. Now, do you have the tools needed? This could be software. This could be other types of tools you might need. If you're a builder, do you have the hammers and the nails and all the things you need? And if not, can you get them in time? If a goal is to set up a project management tool in this next quarter for you and your business, and you have not identified the tool, can you conduct early on in that quarter a project where you review the different tools and make a purchasing decision? And is your organization small enough that you can purchase and be ready to implement in month 2? Do you have the supplies needed to do the work? This can be everything. If you are printing brochures, do you have the printer identified? Do you need to provide the printer anything? What needs to happen? And if you don't have them, again, can you buy them in time for the activity to happen? So if you are holding an event at a major festival for the summer and you intend to give out swag, can you design, print, and receive the swag in time to ship it wherever you need it for that event? You need to consider all of these things when you consider your resources. Now, I want to give you some caution here because there is a concept known as Parkinson's Law. And I've seen it over the years in my own teams that I have worked with. Work will expand to the time allocated. So if you have given your website designer a realistic timeline of, let's say, a month to design your website, you already have the imagery and you already have the content, you just need to lay out those pages and get them in the tool. Do not give your website designer 3 months to complete the work. The work will expand to the time allocated. The web designer will find additional things that weren't part of your website plan and add them into your website. The web designer will offset your project work with other work that takes higher priority because of deadlines. You don't want that to happen. So don't buffer your estimates. But I also want to caution you, set realistic timelines. Unrealistic timelines, building a website in a day, is going to cause stress and burnout for your team. Be sure to set realistic timelines. And realistic means both not unnecessarily tough and not buffered to give the team extra time and energy. Now, Based on those timelines and those priorities, you are going to create your strategic roadmap. This is going to be the guide you have for the quarter. This is the work you and your team are going to accomplish in your business over the next quarter. This can and should include training opportunities. This should include people's vacation. This should include every single goal that you have. You should document all of that in the team's strategic plan. You want to be able to recognize risks and include risk mitigation activities within your strategic plan. You want to track progress and course correct. If something is taking longer than needed, what has to fall off the plan for that to happen? Or who do you need to bring in to offset some of that work? You want to use this to evaluate all future unplanned activities. And you want to consider interruptions that are going to come into your business. When you're coming up with this plan, is this a new thing that your business is doing for the first time? Well, you might need a little more time to accomplish that task. Again, no buffering, but it might take your team a little longer as they're learning and exploring. But I also want you to utilize this plan to evaluate any and all unplanned activities and interruptions that come in over the course of the next quarter. So when you're evaluating those interruptions and activities, you want to ask the critical questions. Is this work more critical to your business? Does this work need to be completed now, or you could have a detrimental thing and impact to your business? Is this work more important? So say you are building your website and all of a sudden you are evaluating a social media campaign. You may not want to go forward with your social media campaign until the website is built. However, if those activities were reversed, you had put your website aside, you've added a social media campaign into the quarter, and then your team recognizes the website isn't ready, that website work is probably more important than that social media campaign. And you want to evaluate it and you want to look at that and make decisions. If the answer is no, that new unplanned activity or interruption goes on the backlog and becomes part of consideration for your next quarter. Now, I've given you a lot of information and I hope you found it really helpful. And I know strategic planning takes time and effort to get used to. So I have a few opportunities you might want to consider. First off, if you liked this video, please give the channel a like and subscribe and ring that bell to be notified of new content that becomes available. Second, scan the QR code. This QR code is going to take you to the strategic planning area of my website. On that page, you will learn about 3 opportunities I have to assist you. The first is the My Business Roadmap tool. This is a software tool. If you have all of the inputs available to you, the software tool is probably the next thing you need. It's going to walk you through strategic planning for the next quarter, the next 6 months, the next 12 to 18 months for your business. And best yet, that software can be updated every month, every quarter to keep your plan on target and to action item the next steps. But I recognize some people need a little more handholding, and the next opportunity would be my Strategy in a Box kit. Now, this kit is going to give you all of the templates needed to create SMART goals, to evaluate things through the Eisenhower metrics, to understand what to bring into your strategy planning session. And it's going to walk you through each and every activity to get those things done and have a quality strategic plan. Now, that has 3 levels. The basic level is going to be those templates you need. The second level is going to offer you a 60-minute consult where I answer questions you may have after completing your strategic plan. The third is going to add on a 12-month subscription to the My Business Roadmap tool. Everything you could possibly need as a DIY solution to your company's strategic planning. Now, I recognize that's a great tool in and of itself, but some people want even more. And for that, I have my VIP day, my Take Back the Wheel. This is a VIP day where I come in and help you prep for and conduct a strategic planning session in your business. I hope those tools will be of use to you, and I look forward to future endeavors. Have a great day.